Hi, Jeff here from Illuminated Fate. In an era where people are looking for somebody to post fast, authoritative answers, I am the simple fool who spends way too much time exploring the questions. Every day I draw a random meditation, and the meditation for today is Yang over Yin. Now, when we talk about yin and yang, or yin and yang, let's not quibble over the pronunciation. That whole body of water will settle with time. We're talking about dualistic forces within everything, where yang is action, yin is stillness. Where yang is typically attributed to male, yin is typically attributed to female. But as with those dual polarities, those exist within all things, even the forces of yang and yin within itself. There's a little bit of a seed of yin in yang, and likewise, there's a little bit of a seed of yang in yin. These things have to work in balance, otherwise there's troubles. I'm going to go ahead and read the passage that we have here for the proverb. Do not employ handsome servants or pretty maids. And here's the poem. I went to the East Hills, bore my sword, slept under my cart. Too many years away, and when I came back, how the rain poured down. The birds are flying, see the glint of their wing. A girl is getting married, her horses are white and bay, and her mother has tied her girdle. All the rites and customs are there. This new marriage is very pretty, but what about the old one? Meditation. On the passage here, we have balance is the essence of yang and yin, but it does not come easily. It has to be maintained. In Chinese philosophy, it is our role to balance yang and yin, heaven and earth. This is done through correct behavior and great rituals. For most of us, however, keeping this balance is also needed in relationships, the most fundamental of which are between partners and parents and their children. The proverb warns that it is easy to be distracted from keeping this personal yang-yin balance. And I agree. Keeping that balance is difficult. It does require you to be mindful of every single moment of every single day, and that can just be exhausting for people. When it comes to what we call good and bad, those are just ideas that we create in our mind, the stories that we tell ourselves. When we want to move, sometimes the current moment requires us to stay. And even though we have that drive to keep pushing forward, the moment holds us back. We have to be receptive to the moment in order to figure out the best course of action. And figuring out the best course of action within any given moment is the very thing that keeps us in balance with the universe around us. Think about it. Just think about it. How many times did our wants drive us to either stay in our house when we should have been going out and doing things? Or how many times was it that we wanted to just break out and take a hold of the world, grab it by the horns, but nothing came of it? It's because we were out of balance. And our wants, those are the very things that cause us the miseries that we suffer. Because when we have an idea of what we want, the reality is not exactly what is in store for it. Feeling a little parched. I'm going to have some some coffee here while I think this through. So, we've talked in previous videos about sitting in the moment, experiencing it without judgment. Sometimes, even though the yang energy is at its peak, sometimes we need to be receptive. But once we're receptive and we find the best course of action, it's time to cycle that back around and use that yang energy in a directed sort of way. I don't know if I have much more to add to that. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave some comments. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the tarot in order to get some more insights on this. So I encourage everyone, if you're still with me, thank you. I do appreciate those who actually watch these things. You know, it's not about me. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this partially to connect with others. I kind of feel, from all the forces that I've observed in my yang or my yin energies when they were at their peak, that everybody's kind of going through a transformation. Everybody's going through a cycle. And I felt that as it is everyone, and I'm experiencing it just as much as everybody else is, that we might as well share these moments. So, I guess if any of these videos that you end up seeing resonate with you, just share them. See what other people think. Yeah, it's raw. Yeah, it's cringy sometimes. Yeah, the silence can be awkward. But how often do we take times to just internally process the basic things? It's the questions that are important, not the answers. Sometimes we got to start from square one. And our world is cycles within cycles, so it's always best to just kind of touch on square one. What are the elements that make up our lives? Let's take a moment and waiting. What does the collective need to hear today? I see. So, we have the Dragon Tarot today. I figured since we're talking about the dance between two major forces, Yang and Yin, might as well bring out the Dragon. Now we have the Ten of Wands and the Four of Wands. Now there's an interplay between those. One is celebration, one is bringing together. The other one is isolation and feelings of pain and discomfort, defeat, victory, defeat. Interesting that these came out together. I feel like I need to draw 2 more cards just to kind of round up this whole thing. Maybe we'll get a clearer picture. All right. 10 of Coins. When we talk about the 10 of Coins, we talk about our deeds, our actions, what we inherit, and how we use it, and what we give to further generations. Interesting dynamic for a middle card. Gonna go ahead and set these aside. We'll do one more. This is a very interesting spread today. We got the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords, in a sense, can be acting for oneself. The Seven of Swords can also be the need for strategy to protect oneself. So we got these dualistic forces that keep playing out in this tarot spread, much like the dualistic forces that we have in Yang and Yin. And that dualism presents itself in the beginning here. Pain and suffering, or pleasure and celebration. These two things are driven by our passions. That wand, the wands, that suit, that's passion. That's where our passions take us. That's what it represents. And our passions will drive us in one degree or another, in one polarity or another. Sometimes our passions betray us and lead to suffering. Sometimes, if we follow our passions, that yang energy, fire is very much a yang element, it can bring us greatness. But what's important is to look at the moment and factor in not only just the moment, but look at the momentum that's brought you to that moment and where your actions, the influence that your actions are going to have later on. That is the legacy that we all live. That is the legacy that we leave behind. It's what we're remembered by. The best course of action is to plan carefully. You know, the strategy, yeah, it's a self-centered thing. It's a self-centered kind of thought. We got what's best for us, but it doesn't have to be a self-centered thought. On one hand, it's what's best for us. On the other hand, it can also be, while we benefit, how will others benefit in our stead? And at the center of it all, we have the foundations that we build and the legacy that we leave behind. So, today is the day for planning, observing, and acting. Acting and then observing. Once again, thanks for sitting with me today. I'm sure a lot of what is from this video will become clearer as the videos progress. We're all unfolding into something new. I can feel it. With that, I'm Jeff. This is Illuminated Fate. I'll see y'all again soon.